You know, I was doing some research and I realized that I realized maybe not half, no, I know half, but maybe most of the people that's noted in history books that are noted in society as far as historical events or historical claims. I realized a lot of these people were Freemasons. I realized a lot of these people were Freemasons for the most part. Um, Given the fact by people like Marcus Garvey, I found out about Marcus Garvey, and I also found out about Haile Selassie. Both of these dudes were Freemasons. And I realized that history has always been contrived. History, I mean, I've been knew that history has always been written by the winners, but I also realized that history has also been contrived. And I remember what Albert Pike said a long time ago. He said, "Let the people have their heroes, but make sure you control the narrative." And it lets me know that everything has been contrived. The people, the elite, was controlling things behind the scenes. And to tell you the truth, my honest opinion, there's no such thing as heroes. There is no such thing as heroes. The heroes that we know of has been written, has been controlled and contrived by the powers that be to get you in a certain mood or to get you caught up in a lie by saying that heroes do exist, but they really don't. You know, what's the concept of good and bad? Because what they do, what the elites do, they think they're doing good, but to regular people, it's bad. And what we think is good, but to the powers that be, is bad. So, what is good? What is evil? It's just a man made concept, I guess. But here's one thing I do know. I realize that in the end, what we think, what we doing is good, could be a detriment to us all. And also, the pathway to evil, I mean, what am I to say? The pathway to evil was paved by good intentions. I'll say it again. The pathway to evil was paved by good intentions. Even though your intentions might have been good, you still paved the way for evil to come in. You know, that's all I gotta say. And to the people who's listening to this recording, you don't have to like it, just destroy it. Because number one, who the fuck am I? And number two, I'm just a piece of shit towards everybody else. But here's the thing I will say though. Don't knock it if you never researched it. I'll say it again. Don't knock it if you never research certain things like this, man. You know, everybody has an opinion. But if you never research these dynamics, then what the fuck do you know? That's it. Uh, you know, my thoughts on these live podcasts that's out here now. You know, going to talking about the Joe Budden podcast and the $1 Million Game podcast. And I'm gonna tell you the truth, man. In my honest opinion, the ones I just named, those particular live podcasts are compromised, and I'm gonna tell you why. Now, when it comes to $1 Million Game with Get It a Kid and his cousin, I forgot his cousin name, but ever since they signed that contract, they've been compromised. Um, so when it comes to asking certain questions, they won't be able to ask them because they've been compromised. Now, when it comes to Joe Budden, I'm glad he got his own podcast, but it's easy to see that he's been compromised too. You know, certain signs and certain symbols, that you see, circulating around Joe Budden, it's been shown that he's been compromised too. And like I said before, there's certain questions that need to be answered, but he won't be able to because the people that he's interviewing, and the people that he's interviewing, they are part of that inner circle. They're part of that brotherhood. He's a part of that brotherhood as well. So he won't be able to ask certain questions to certain celebrities as well. Listen, man, when it comes to those live podcasts, they've been compromised by the system. They've been compromised by the brotherhood. So listen, their podcast is entertaining. It's informative to some degree. But when it comes to the raw, gritty, when it comes to the actual raw, gritty questions that need to be answered, you're not going to find it in those podcasts because, like I said before, they've been compromised. They either signed a contract or they're part of that brotherhood. And I'm gonna say it right now. Fuck it. Joe Budden, he's a Freemason. Budden is a Mason. You can tell like some of the signs that he does in his thumbnails. He's letting his handlers know that he's still that he's agreeing to that brotherhood, that he's still a part of that brotherhood. So the signs that he do in certain pictures of thumbnails, he's just letting his handlers know that he's still loyal to that brotherhood. Now, when it comes to $1 Million Game, they signed the contract, that big, I guess 7-figure contract, whatever. But it was a big number. But whatever contract that they signed, they're still a part of that system. So they have to acquiesce to that system because they signed a contract. But when it comes to Joe Budden, he's letting the people know that secretly he's a Mason or he's a Freemason, whatever. But overall, he's still a part of the inner circle. He's still a part of that brotherhood, and the people that and the celebrities that be on his show, or that's going to be a part of the show, or whatever. He has to acquiesce to their rules because he's a part of that brotherhood. But yeah, no disrespect, man, to these podcasts. I'm saying, they getting their money, amen, do you? But when it comes to the raw, gritty questions that need to be answered, you can't look upon these podcasters to get your answers because they won't be able to do it. You have to look elsewhere. You have to do your research and look elsewhere, to find your answers. But that's all I gotta say, man. That's all I gotta say. It's just that a lot of these podcasts, not all of them, but a nice majority of them have been compromised by the system, have been compromised by the brotherhood. So my advice to the people who wants to look for the answers or search for the answers, you have to do your due diligence to do your research in order for you to find out the answers on your own. That's all I can tell you. But when it comes to these podcasts, don't look up to these podcasts because a lot of those motherfuckers have been compromised. Just like Drink Champs, they've been compromised a long time ago. They've been compromised a long time ago, man. And Noriega always talk about that door. There's a ceiling, that door. So if you don't acquiesce to their rules, if you don't go through that door, you won't be able to reach new heights in your career. But I guess he went through one of those doors, so now he's compromised by the system, But that's all I gotta say about that, man. That's all I gotta say. Just like I said before, just do your research on your own and just find out the answers on your own, man. So come up with your own solution to your problems. That's all I gotta say. Thank you so much, and have a good day.